today we're going to overview how to get our InTouch contacts management, how we're going to be able to export our contacts from InTouch, how we'll be also able to showcase the listing alerts and how to save those on as well, and how we could save our custom website content. And we're going to do a step-by-step on that as well. And so let's get this started. First off, InTouch. InTouch right now is your current CRM that is company provided, and that will be migrating over. So InTouch will be migrating over to an open ecosystem where you'll still be able to take advantage of InTouch, but starting July 1st, you will start getting a $79 fee for the usage, which is why right now we have Moxie. Moxie is going to be the new Coldwell Banker provided CRM, CMA, website, and your digital marketing on that as well. So to get ready, we want to make sure to look into our InTouch and see what we have there currently. So we have that tile. Sometimes if it doesn't show up, we could do the search bar and pull that one up. We'll go ahead and enter it. Now, our first step, something that I like to recommend to my agents, is to look through your contacts. See when was the last time you updated your contacts? Was it 6 months ago? Was it a year ago? Was it when you started 15 years ago? It's the perfect time right now to go through our contacts and seeing who is still active, who is not, who has changed their email. This way we make sure that everything that transfers over to Moxie is clean and crisp, and we don't have to worry about updating that list anymore. So this is a perfect time where we could go through our contact list, see when was the last time you added them? When was the last time that they replied back to you? Make sure you have that all cleaned up. And then the next step will be viewing all of your contacts and then clicking through all of them and opening it up, seeing if they have any listing alerts, seeing if they have any notes on there that you would want to keep. Make sure you click on each contact, open them up, and get that going. The next step, we want to make sure after you've cleaned all of your contacts, reviewed each one of them, maybe they have a new spouse and you want to enter their email as well in there, go ahead and update it. The next step is we're going to want to make sure to see where our contacts are organized through groups. One of the functions when we transfer over, we might not keep track of what those groups are. So it's important for us to go in ahead of time and see what are the groups that you have. There are pre-populated groups through InTouch, which are family and friends, co-workers, past clients, but then obviously you have your own custom groups where it could be a particular distribution list or your past clients that are in the particular area. We want to make sure that those contacts stay in those groups. So we would want to make sure we keep note of that and how many contacts you have per each group. So you'll be able to tell that this Lakeside distribution list has 88. So we want to make sure that when we upload them, we have 88 contacts that get exported as well. We don't have to worry about any of those contact groups that don't have any group and numbers in there, any contacts. So that way we could just look over those sections when we do the transfer over. And all of this section is going to be under the little tab that is contacts right through InTouch. So you'll do the contacts, you'll see all contacts. That's how you'll be able to populate all of your contacts. Usually is by the last time you've contacted them. So we'll be able to organize that distribution list. And then right underneath that, you'll be able to manage groups. You could delete groups off of there, but it will not delete your contact from the contact list. Like I mentioned, we want to make sure you know exactly what you have for each contact group. And then from there on, you already know you cleaned up your contact list, you've reviewed and seeing what contacts are in what group. Now the next step is going to be exporting your contacts to a CSV file. The good thing about it is that InTouch does that for you. You don't have to go in and make sure to change that it's a CSV file. It gives you that option right away. You're going to want to go ahead and obviously click on your contacts, export contacts to get to this portion. Once you hit export contacts, it'll bring you up to this particular window. And there's only 2 tabs right onto there. And you'll be able to select what groups you want to export. Right now, we want to make sure you're exporting all of the contacts all together. That way you have one list with all of your contacts put together without them separated into groups. And the Excel sheet that will populate will look like the one on the bottom. It will have all of these contact tables. So first name, last name, phone number, email, all of the good stuff. And so even if you only have first name, last name, email address, all of the headers will be populated onto there, and it will be in the perfect file format that will be easily imported straight into your Moxie Impress and Moxie Engage. And the great thing about it is that once you import them into your Moxie Impress or Moxie Engage, then all of that suite will have access to your contacts. So if you want to send out a presentation from Moxie Present, your contact will be already connected onto there, instead of just having to type in all that email, because before it wouldn't auto-populate emails. Now it will auto-populate that email, and you'll also be able to keep track of you'll also be able to keep track if they've opened that pre-listing presentation or that buyer presentation, as also as those listing alerts as well. So that's a great option to get all those contacts put together in one Excel sheet and have that be able to be used on your other marketing initiatives through the MoxiWorks suite. We always want to make sure to select options. For the first section, we want to make sure we just select all that group. That way it has them all by alphabetical order. It will not organize them by group. So one of the recommendations of why we want to say organize them by group is because it's just to keep yourself in track, because sometimes agents upload their MCAR, well, their Realtor Association list up there, and it could have been a 2018 or 2020 list. So that's another reason to keep yourself alert of what contacts you're actually exporting, because sometimes you don't want to keep an old real estate contact list. You would want to make sure you're contacting your current Realtor Association to get the most updated agent email list. So that's one of the reasons why we want to make sure you could export them all together or separate them by group. That way you know exactly which contacts are going to be updated to your new Moxie Engage section, which is your CRM. The next section that we really want to view is those listing alerts. InTouch is where we set up all of our clients' listing alerts, all of our potential buyers, our potential sellers, even ourselves, and we want to keep up with the market. We set those up. So in order to be able to make sure that your current client still receives the listing alerts, we have to go in and check. That's one of the things that will not be manually transferred over from the migration. It will not transfer the listing alerts. So this is a perfect opportunity to go in to find those listing alerts. In order to get that, the same, we're going to use that contact button to make sure we see all of our contacts. We're going to hit the filter button in order to give us the little filter page, and we'll be able to filter it out through contacts that have listing alerts. So that's going to be this section right here. You're going to want to put yes with an alert, and then it will organize all of your contacts who have a listing alert assigned to them. And that is showcased by the blue house that's filled in. And that's how you'll be able to know who has a listing alert. And before we transfer it over, we might have to go in and say, hey, this buyer already bought their house 2 years ago or last year, and they're still on that listing alert because it doesn't have an expiration date. So this would be the perfect time to go in and kind of shut it off. Or if a seller or a buyer has had that listing alert for 2 years and they haven't reached out, this is a perfect opportunity where you could go in, give them a call and say, hey, I haven't talked to you in forever. I know I still have you set up onto this listing alert. Are you still interested in buying or selling? I am moving my resources. So I want to make sure that I keep you up to date with all of my new marketing or all of the new market research. And that way you're giving yourself an opportunity of giving a warm contact to this past lead, but also making sure that you're spending all of your future time to the clients that are actively looking or on the passive side, without just not putting too much energy on people that are on the weeds, that are still not sure what they want. So we want to make sure that your time is valuable and it's spent with each client that is wanting your attention and craving for your assistance on that. So this is one of the benefits of coming in, taking a time to take a step back, look at our past clients, and then look at what listing alerts they have. The next, if you have a client that's still with a current listing alert and they're still actively looking, these are the details that you would like to keep track. Put it on a note. You could also, once you've exported that contact list, we could make 2 copies. One copy that will import to a Moxie, and another copy where you could actually keep track of those listing alerts or those notes sections from your contact. That way you have it a little bit organized and you don't feel a little bit too overwhelmed with all of the other moving parts on that section. So once you've organized your contacts to see all those listing alerts, you'll be able to click on the little house and it'll pull up this window where it'll literally say, this Katie, she is assigned to a listing alert for Folsom, and her price range is between $475 to $750. She has no minimum in acres, single property listing, no age restrictions, and she wants it on a weekly basis. So that's basically what we can do. Is you could just highlight everything, copy and paste it on your Excel sheet, and that way when you transfer her over, then all we would have to do is go in, click that listing alert, and have that populate. Another way that you can do is you can reach out to Katie and say, hey, Katie, I see that you're still receiving my emails, my listing alerts. I wanted to check in, see how you're doing. By the way, you will start seeing these listing alerts look a little different. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. How are you doing? Do you want to know what the market is like? And that's another way that you could still take advantage of this migration to have a warm contact with all of your past clients and your potential clients as well. So this is a great opportunity for that. So to make sure you just copy and paste all of those criteria and have that available for your next, your migration over. The next step, after we've looked up at all of our clients, all of our primary sphere, our potential clients, we will want to make sure that all of our hard work that we have placed on our current InTouch website gets noticed and gets also saved for our new website. So in order to do that, we will go in to our website settings, and we are able to copy and paste any of the material that you have into a Word document from there. So any content blog posts that you've created, any community served, because I know those community served pages have a lot of information, a lot of links that we really want to make sure that you're showcasing on your new website. Partners, so if, I know they automatically have the GRA and home warranty on there, but let's say you're partnered with someone else, you're able to go ahead and add that as well. All of your wonderful testimonials, we could go ahead and save those as well and move them over to your new site. But keep in mind, if you're not going to use the migration tool, it is now available. It became available, I believe, at the beginning of last week, towards the end of last week. So now if you go into Moxie Engage, The first time you'll have a window saying, are you ready for the migration? I really recommend you postpone the migration up until you have all of your contacts and everything cleaned up on InTouch, because it is a one and done deal. So if you jump the gun and migrate everything over without cleaning everything on InTouch, then there will be a little bit of discrepancies on there. So we want to make sure that we do that before we click on the migration. But if you're not going to take advantage of that tool, your groups will not transfer over. You will have to recreate your groups in Moxie before you upload your contacts. So this is why we want to make sure that everything in Moxie and InTouch is cleaned up. So when the migration goes over, everything is crisp and clean, and you won't have to do double the work on that. The system will not check for duplicates. So if you've already have contacts in Moxie and you don't use the migration and you try to upload them again, they will duplicate. So they will receive those twice in there. Any notes you have in InTouch will not export to your contact list. So that's another reason why we want to keep track of those notes in case they do get misplaced. You have them still, and you know exactly what your client wants or doesn't want on that. You will need to put your contact list in Moxie as a CSV file template before uploading them. So if you're going to do this manually, you will have to make sure that the headers of the Excel sheet match exactly the headers of Moxie. InTouch and Moxie, they love those headers to be very, very specific. So they do get a little testy when they're not matching. So that's another thing we want to keep track of. But now that the migration tool is available, that is still an option, and it will be able to have all of this possible. We just want to make sure, again, that we have everything prepped beforehand. What will be migrated? Well, contacts will be migrated to the My People tab in Moxie Engage, and these are the fields that will be available, which is obviously your first name, last name, address, phone number, and email. So you could put up to 3. So I know a lot of contacts have their primary personal email, they have their business email, and then maybe they might have an email with their spouse, or you might have their spouse email as well. So it does give you options for that flexibility. Your job title, your company, anniversary, birthday, and notes. So those are still great information to always keep track and stay top of mind to your clients by remembering their birthday or their anniversary and things like that. Your contact groups will be migrated over as contact groups in Moxie Engage. Contact statuses. So hot, cold, engaged, before will be added to your contact groups as well, and they will include with the status of your old CRM. So it's not going to change the status. So if they were cold in InTouch, they'll remain cold in Moxie as well. So you don't have to worry about that switching and getting a little bit confused on that section. Your reminders will show up as a task in Moxie Engage. So there's a bit of a verbiage change, but their tools will still be the same. The activities will show under the activity tab under each contact. So if you sent them an email and they opened it up, that will be kind of what the analytics will be. So under the activities tag as well, you'll be able to review everything. Lead source will be the primary source, will the map be. So the lead source tags in Moxie Engage, those will be specific. So if the primary source contains company lead, then the secondary source from InTouch will be mapped to lead source tags. So basically, when you get a lead, sometimes it says Coldwell Banker or source lead that you paid for it. It'll still keep track of those lead designations as well. If you are a pro user, that means you have a domain through InTouch, and you have any additional questions, please put in your email in the chat section. That way we could forward you over the frequently asked questions for that section. InTouch is having an interesting migration option. So if you want to purchase your domain from InTouch so you could use it over to Moxie, you will have to pay a $50 purchasing fee from it, and also either if you're going to go to register.com or godaddy.com, you will have to activate that. So there is a little bit of a steps to do if you are an InTouch Pro user. So now I know we're cutting it close, but let's do a quick little demo of how we're going to get this going. So here we are in my account. And we're going to go to my contacts, since that's where we're going to export our contacts. So first, we're going to review all of my contacts. So we're going to come here and make sure that they're all there. I don't have any of them that have listing alerts, so they're all agents. And so I could just check all to see I have 107 contacts. I could uncheck that. And let me see what Paul Zek, what I have under his contact. So if he had any listing alerts, anything like that, it would populate on here. He's fine. I don't need to change anything on that. And next, and then I'll be able to go down the list. If I want to delete someone, come here and then do a bulk update and send that contact to trash. That way you know exactly how to keep in contact and how to delete one on there. So let's say we've reviewed all of them. We want to export them all. We're going to go back to contacts. And let me just check those groups. So I'm going to go to manage groups and see what groups I have available, and I only have coworkers, which are 104. So I don't really have to worry about any other contacts onto there. So now I'm going to go back here, and now I want to export them. So the good thing is there's a nice export button right on the screen. We'll click onto that, and now we'll be able to see if I want to export them through groups or anything like that. Any statuses, of course, I just want all. We'll hit export. And it's doing its little magic, and it's opening up over here. And now here I have the contacts. It gives me first name, last name, email, and their status that I have, all these other extra stuff. I personally, because all of this doesn't really matter to me, I could come in here and just delete, and then come here and delete. That way it's a little bit cleaner, and that way I don't get overwhelmed with seeing all those tabs and all those tables. And then we could just come in here, save that as a copy, and we'll be ready to be imported over to Moxie. So let's say we want to come in and double check those listing alerts that I don't have. You'll be able to go in and just click on those little houses, make sure you'll be able to do that. And then what I would do is, let me open this up again. I would save this, and then I would make a copy of this. So I would come in here, save as, make a copy, and then add a note section here. Note. Or listing alerts. And now you could just copy and paste what is on there and keep yourself on track that way. Let's go back onto here. And so now that you've exported your contacts, you've reviewed all of your InTouch, your listing alerts, now you're going to want to go into your website and hit edit site or view site. So I have it open already. So let's say I want to keep all of this. I'll come here, copy it, and then I have a blank Word doc, and I'm just going to paste it. And it pastes it right away. And now I could save this as my Clients for Life web page. So now I have everything that was on that page saved. So when I'm ready to move over, I could tell my field marketing specialist or my SSA, hey, this is what I had in my InTouch. Can we work together to make this on my page as well? So that way your field marketing specialist and your SSA have the raw material, and they have your ideas, and they'll be able to work with you to make that site as pristine as possible. So I know it was a lot. I know it feels like it's a lot of steps, but I promise you after this migration, everything's going to be a lot more seamless through Moxie. But you have up until June 30th for this transfer. So this is the perfect time to sit down, take an hour a day, an hour every 2 days to review your contacts, clean them up, and then by June 30th, you're going to be ready to swap into Moxie and completely reinvent the way that you contact your clients, keep track of your leads, and showcase your personal brand through your MoxiWorks suite. So let me stop the recording and see if we have any questions on there. I'm gonna go here.